Hi boys and girls, this week we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We are actually going to be practicing our multiplication 2 by 2 and our division as well using the standard algorithm. So you only have 4 problems a day, but remember that it's not about the answer. It's about, right now since we are not in school, taking time and practicing that long division. So next year when you get to 5th grade, it's going to be easy for you. So the very first problem is 683 divided by 3. So if I was to write this in a number sentence, it would say 683 divided by 3 equals my quotient. Remember, when we divide, that is called my quotient. So we're going to do our long division. So remember that the big number, it's called the dividend, and it goes inside the house. So I'm going to do my little house. Inside the house is going to be 683. Notice that I am writing them big and leaving space in between them. I will be dividing by 3. That is my divisor. So my divisor is going to be going outside. I'm going to add my times. Remember, when we're doing long division, we follow the steps: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. You can also think about, does McDonald's sell burgers? Or dad, mom, sister, baby, brother? Or dirty monkeys smell bad? To help you remember those steps, remember it's divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. So the very first thing I'm going to do, since I have a 3 and I have a 6 inside. Now, why did I not look at the whole number? Because we only have 1 digit, so we're going to divide only by 1 digit. So remember, these are my groups. And I'm trying to share 683. So I'm going to share there's 3 groups, and I'm sharing the 6. Remember the 6, these are my 1s, these are my 10s, and these are my 100s. My 6 actually means 600, right? So I'm telling myself how many times or how many will be in each of the 3 groups if I have 600 and I divide equally. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide. So I'm going to ask myself, 3, how many times does it go into 6? That is divide. We know that 3 times 2 actually equals 6. So I just divided, so I'm going to put a check mark. And now I am going to multiply. So I have the 3. I am going to multiply times 2. That equals to 6. So we write it down. We multiply. So I'm going to put a check mark. So now we're going to end up subtracting. 6 take away 6. That would be 0. Check mark. And now the last step is to bring down. We're going to bring down the next digit, which will be an 8. Check mark, and we go back to the top, which means to divide. Now, we're not looking at the number up here anymore. We're actually looking at the number at the bottom. How many times can the 3 go into the 8? Or 3 times what gives me 8? We know that 3 times 2 gives me 6. I cannot use 3 because that would be 9. So I divide it. So now I multiply. 3 times 2 gives me 6. Subtract 8 minus 6, that is 2. And now we're going to bring down the last digit, which is going to be 83. So remember, now we're looking at this number, which is the 23. And we're going to go back to the top and we're going to divide. 3 times 1 gives me 23. 3 times 8 is 24. That is too big, so I cannot use it. So I'm going to use 3 times 7. I divide it, so now I multiply. 3 times 7 equals 21. Write it down. Subtract 23 minus 21 equals 2. And then bring down. There is nothing else. Since there is nothing else, this 2 becomes my remainder. So my answer would be 227, remainder 2. Remember that we do check our work. So I'm going to go ahead and take my quotient, the 227, and I'm going to multiply times 3. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 more is 8. 3 times 2 is 6. Remember, we also had a remainder 2. That means we added to our product. 2 plus 1 is 3. 8 plus nothing is 8. 6 plus nothing is 6. Did we get the same answer? Yes, we did. So our quotient is correct. I'm going to go ahead and do one more, and then you guys are going to be responsible to do the other 2. The next problem for today, Monday, will be 463 divided by 2. If I put it in a number sentence, it would be 463 divided by 2 equals my quotient. I'm going to open up my house. Remember that inside goes the big number, which is 463. Outside of the house is the divisor, which is going to be the 2. So it is dirty monkeys smell bad. So I'm going to start by dividing. How many times can the 2 go into the 4? Or 2 times what gives me 4? We know 2 times 2 equals 4. So I just divide it. So now I multiply. 2 times 2 equals 4. Write it down. Notice that in the first step when we divide, we only write the number at the top. When we multiply, that's when we actually write it down, our product. Check mark. Now I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 4 equals 0. B stands for bring down, so I'm going to bring down the next digit, which will be the 6. Check mark. 2, how many times can the 2 go into the 6? We know 2 times 3 is 6. So that means I just divided. So now I'm going to multiply. 2 times 3 equals 6. Write it down. Subtract. 6 minus 6 equals 0. Bring down. The last digit will be a 3. Go back to the top and we're going to divide again. How many times can the 2 go into the 3? We know that we can only go in once. So now we multiply. 2 times 1, write it down. That equals 2. Subtract 3 minus 2, that equals 1. Bring down. There's actually nothing else to bring down. So 1 becomes my remainder, 1. 231, remainder 1. To check our answers, we multiply. So we're going to take our quotient, 231, and we're going to multiply times 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. And 2 times 2 equals 4. Remember, we had a remainder of 1, so we added to the bottom. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 6 plus nothing is 6. 4 plus nothing is 4. Did we get the same answer? Yes, we did. So that means our quotient is correct. You have 2 more problems for Monday to work them out. You can do them in a sheet of paper, any blank paper that you have, or an old journal that you might have. If you have questions, remember to call me. Here's my number so I can help you. Remember, the answer, I don't care about the answer. Right now, since we have a lot of time, we want to make sure we're practicing our division problems. Now, if you want to do the box to check your work, go for it. But do not forget to practice the standard algorithm. If you want to get better at the standard algorithm, you need to practice, practice,